The consortium had ruled the galaxy for 12,000 years. Their fleet numbered in the millions. Warships the size of small moons patrolled every corner of known space. They had conquered 400 species and absorbed their technology into their war machine. No one challenged them. No one dared. When their long-range sensors detected a small vessel entering their territory from the dark space beyond the galactic rim, they sent a standard patrol of 50 warships to investigate. The patrol never returned. Their final transmission was 3 seconds of static and a single word that made no sense to the consortium command. The word was impossible. Admiral Crix stood on the bridge of his command vessel, the Eternal Dominion. He was a decorated warrior who had crushed rebellions on 30 worlds. His scales were dark with age and battle scars. He had never known fear in his long life. But as he watched the reports coming in from the outer territories, something cold moved through his blood. "Show me the visual records," he commanded. The holographic display flickered to life. Crix watched as 50 of his warships surrounded a single vessel. The enemy ship was small, barely larger than a light cruiser. Its design was unlike anything in the consortium database. The hull was smooth and dark, with no visible weapons or engine ports. It looked almost primitive. Then the small ship moved. It moved in ways that broke every law of physics the consortium understood. One moment, it was surrounded. The next moment, it was behind a patrol fleet. Beams of light erupted from its hull. Not plasma, not particle weapons. Something else entirely. Each beam touched a warship, and that warship simply ceased to exist. No explosion, no debris. Just gone. Erased from reality as if it had never been there. The entire patrol was destroyed in 11 seconds. Crix felt his throat go dry. He had seen weapons of every kind in his career. Nuclear fire, antimatter bombs, gravity wells that crushed planets. But he had never seen anything like this. A weapon that simply removed things from existence. "What species built this ship?" he demanded. His science officer pulled up the limited data they had gathered. "Unknown, Admiral. The vessel's origin point is beyond our mapped territory. We have intercepted one communication from the ship." A single repeated phrase. "Play it." A voice filled the bridge. It was unlike any voice Crix had heard. Soft, almost gentle. Speaking in a language that somehow translated itself into his mind. "We are humans. We come in peace. Please do not engage us. We do not wish to harm you." Crix laughed. The sound was harsh and cold. They destroy 50 warships and claim to come in peace. They mock us. He turned to his communications officer. "Send word to every fleet in the sector. I want 1,000 warships assembled at the nexus point within 6 standard cycles. We will show these humans what happens to those who challenge the consortium." The message went out. Ships from 100 worlds began their journey to the nexus point. It was the largest gathering of military force in 3 centuries. 1,000 warships. Each one carrying enough firepower to burn a planet down to bare rock. Against them stood a single small vessel and its crew of unknown creatures called humans. Captain Elena Vasquez stood at the center of the Artemis Bridge. She was 62 years old, though rejuvenation treatments made her appear no older than 30. Her hair was silver by choice, not age. Her eyes were calm and steady as she watched the enemy fleet assemble. "They're really going to do this," said Lieutenant Chung from the tactical station. "We gave them every chance to stand down." Elena nodded slowly. "We knew this might happen. The consortium has never encountered a force they couldn't crush. They don't understand what we are, what we've become." The Artemis was the first ship of its kind, built in secret over 300 years by a humanity that had learned hard lessons about the universe. Earth had nearly been destroyed twice, first by their own foolishness, then by the visitors, an alien race that had seen humanity as nothing more than resources to be harvested. The visitors had killed 3 billion people before they were stopped. That war had changed everything. Humanity had retreated to the shadows. They had hidden themselves away in the dark spaces between galaxies. And they had worked. For 1,000 years, they had worked. They had unlocked the secrets of reality itself. They had learned to bend space and time. They had discovered how to tap into the fundamental forces that held the universe together. And they had built ships that could channel those forces into weapons of unimaginable power. The Artemis was not the largest ship in the human fleet. It was not the most heavily armed, but it was powerful enough to make anything else in the galaxy look like a child's toy. "Admiral Crix is hailing us," Chun reported. Elena straightened her uniform. "Put him through." The holographic display showed a massive reptilian figure covered in scales and scars. His eyes burned with hatred and contempt. "Human vessel," Crix growled. "You have committed an act of war against the Consortium. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick. Resist, and we will hunt down your entire species and erase you from the universe." Elena remained calm. "Admiral, I apologize for the loss of your patrol. They opened fire on us first. We defended ourselves. We have no desire for conflict with the Consortium. All we ask is safe passage through your territory. We are explorers, not conquerors." Crix laughed. "You destroyed 50 warships and call yourself explorers? You lie, human. And now you face 1,000 of our greatest vessels. Your little ship cannot stand against such force. This is your final chance. Surrender," Elena sighed. She had hoped for a different outcome. But some species only understood power. They could not be reasoned with. They could only be shown. "Admiral, I urge you to reconsider. Your fleet cannot harm us. If you attack, you will lose everything. Please, stand down." For a moment, something flickered in Crix's eyes. Some instinct warning him that this small human with her soft voice was not bluffing. But 12,000 years of Consortium dominance silenced that instinct. "All ships," Crix commanded. "Open fire." 1,000 warships unleashed their fury at once. Plasma beams, antimatter missiles, gravity bombs. The combined firepower could have shattered a small moon. It streaked toward the Artemis in a blinding wave of destruction. The Artemis simply wasn't there anymore. It had moved faster than light itself. Not through hyperspace. Not through any form of travel the Consortium understood. It had simply chosen to be somewhere else, and reality had agreed. The human ship appeared behind the Consortium fleet. Elena closed her eyes for a moment. She hated this part. Every life lost weight on her soul. But she had a duty to protect her people. A duty to ensure that humanity never again faced extinction at the hands of those who saw them as prey. "Activate the erasure field," she said quietly. The Artemis hummed with power. Energy that existed outside normal space flowed through its hull. The ship became a conduit for forces that had existed since the birth of the universe. And then it released that power. The Consortium fleet began to vanish. Ship after ship simply stopped existing. There was no violence, no fire, no screaming metal. They were simply removed from the fabric of reality, edited out of existence as if they had never been built. The process was almost gentle, almost merciful. Admiral Crix watched in frozen horror as his mighty fleet dissolved around him. 600 ships gone in the first 30 seconds. 700, 800. His command vessel shook as reality itself seemed to bend and twist. "Retreat!" he screamed. "All ships retreat." But there was nowhere to retreat to. The human vessel was everywhere and nowhere. It moved through their formation like a ghost, and everything it touched ceased to be. 900 ships gone. 950. Crix fell to his knees on the bridge of the Eternal Dominion. His crew had fled their stations. Alarms wailed throughout the ship. The view screen showed nothing but empty space where his fleet had been. "What are you?" he whispered. The human captain's voice came through the communication system. Soft, sad, tired. We are what the universe made us, Admiral. We are a species that learned to survive. A species that was nearly destroyed and chose to become something more. We did not want this. We came in peace. We asked you to let us pass. You chose violence. And now you see the result. Crix looked at the empty space around him. 1,000 warships. Millions of warriors. Gone in less than 3 minutes. Erased by a single vessel carrying a handful of strange soft creatures who claimed to want peace. Why spare me? He asked. Because someone needs to tell the story, Elena replied. Someone needs to go back to the consortium and explain what happened here. Tell them that humanity wishes no conflict. Tell them that we seek only to explore and to learn. Tell them that we will respond to friendship with friendship and to trade with trade. But also tell them this, Admiral. If they come for us with weapons, if they threaten our people or our worlds, we will defend ourselves. And we have ships like the Artemis. Thousands of them. Each one powerful enough to destroy your entire galactic fleet. She paused, and when she spoke again, her voice was heavy with something Crix did not understand. Something that might have been sorrow. We do not want to be monsters, Admiral. We have seen what monsters look like. We have fought them and beaten them and buried our dead because of them. All we want is to exist in peace, to explore the wonders of the universe, to meet other species and learn from them. Is that so much to ask? Crix had no answer. He could only kneel on his bridge and stare at the empty space where his fleet had been. The Artemis turned away. Its dark hull caught the light of distant stars. Then it was gone, vanishing into the void as if it had never been there. Admiral Crix returned to consortium space alone. He stood before the High Council and told them what had happened. He described the human ship and its impossible weapons. He repeated the captain's words exactly as she had spoken them. The council debated for 3 days. Some wanted revenge. Some wanted to gather every ship in consortium space and hunt the humans down. But cooler heads prevailed. Heads that understood what Crix had truly witnessed. Humanity was not a threat to be crushed. Humanity was a force of nature. A species that had walked through fire and emerged stronger. A species that had learned to bend reality itself to their will. They could not be conquered. They could not be destroyed. They could only be respected. The consortium sent a diplomatic vessel to the coordinates the humans had provided. It carried no weapons, only gifts and offers of friendship. The humans welcomed them warmly. Trade agreements were signed. Knowledge was exchanged. Slowly, carefully, trust was built. In time, the galaxy came to know humanity not as conquerors or destroyers, but as explorers and friends. They traveled everywhere, always in peace, always offering help to those who needed it. They shared their medicine and their technology. They protected the weak and defended the innocent. But everyone remembered the Battle of the Nexus Point. Everyone remembered what one human ship had done to the mightiest fleet in the galaxy. And everyone understood the unspoken truth that lay beneath humanity's gentle smile. They came in peace. They asked only for friendship. But if anyone ever threatened them again, humanity had the power to end civilizations. They simply chose not to use it. That choice, more than anything else, showed the galaxy what kind of species humanity truly was. Not monsters with terrible weapons, but guardians who kept their swords sheathed. Protectors who hoped they would never need to fight again. And in the 1,000 years that followed, they never did.